guys, and welcome to Super Marvel Brothers, the Marvel Cinematic Universe recap podcast. I'm Connor.
I'm Brendon, and our goal is to get you ready for the greatest cinematic event to ever happen in the history of the world, which is Avengers Infinity War.
I feel like we really got to prioritize this. There's like Titanic and like some really artsy movies. You know,
I literally watched a mermaid make love to a woman on screen this week.
And a merman.
Yeah, that too. And I'm still more excited for this movie.
Alright, we're starting off this week a little different. We're going to go over the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer that came out this week.
So, funny thing, the trailer literally dropped the day after we recorded the Thor show. Yeah. So we're getting a little late, but hey, you know, it's better late than never, as they always say.
Yeah.
I like Ant-Man. I like the first one. It's really good. We'll get to it eventually in this, but this one looks interesting. The thing I'm really excited for is they're going to explore the size things more. Things are shrinking and growing, and it's great.
I want more clarification. Like, he gets stronger when he's small. Wouldn't he get weaker when he's big? Explain it.
So there's two things in the MCU we've got to accept. If it's in a Thor movie, Odin has affected it. Uh-huh. And if it's in an Ant-Man movie, it's pin particles. Mm-hmm. Just that, pin particles.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what the Wasp character is, if it's the lady from the last movie, because she looks totally different. So if they I guess they might have switched actors, but...
Well, we could have just researched that beforehand, but that's a lot of work. Our fans will just yell at us later, maybe.
Whatever.
But no, I'm just really excited that they're exploring more with the shrinking and growing, like when they shrink the van and then like go underneath the car and grow it again. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
The Pez dispenser scene they end the trailer with looks really cool. So I'm really excited. The one thing, I'll have to double check the calendar, but the one thing I'm actually upset about now, so we have 3 Marvel movies coming out this year. And it used to be you'd have one kind of April, one kind of June, July, and then one in November.
Right.
And Ant-Man's coming out in July.
Yeah.
I believe. July or August, which means that you're not going to have that late year.
We're getting jam-packed. We're getting...
It's February, May, June, July, that kind of thing. Which I guess Disney, you know, they've got so much to get out that they've got to do that. But I always look forward to, you know, I have a late in the year birthday, and like it's always a nice little treat for my birthday to go see a Marvel movie. I splurge, get the IMAX, and so like last 2 years I got Ragnarok in IMAX, I got Doctor Strange in IMAX. It's great, and then this year I'm not gonna get that. Mm-hmm. A little sad. Come on, Marvel.
Yeah.
What about us winter babies? You know, what are we supposed to do?
No, it's all about us summer babies. What up? Party Central.
Seriously, summer babies have like everything, and like this is the one thing I had.
What's up?
And literally,
aren't you glad I take advantage of all that by staying inside playing video games and watching videos all
Yes, you really do.
Yeah,
really
take advantage of life to the fullest, baby.
If we had switched, like, it would have been worked out for both of us.
It would have been amazing.
It would have been socially acceptable for you to play video games, and then I could have been like, you know, outside doing nice things,
doing real world things.
But anyway, we're looking excited for that. Well, obviously, we'll do a special episode when that comes out.
Yeah.
Get it, even though it's going to be after the greatest cinematic event in the history of the world.
Yeah. All right.
But let's get ready for the main event today.
Okay, which is the climax of Phase 1.
Yeah. We are ending Phase 1 with a bang because we are 4 years old. Mm-hmm. The Avengers.
Oh man.
Joss Whedon, 2012. We talked a little bit about.
Isn't Joss Whedon?
I said Joss.
Okay, I thought you said Josh.
No, I know the S and the H can get mixed up, but we talked about it a little bit last episode how this was by far the movie I've seen the most in theaters.
Yeah,
at least 5 times I can think of.
Yeah,
and I know you got angry at me over it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like how hyped I was at this. I saw it the first weekend it came out, and I was still in college at the time.
Right.
And I remember my one friend, Twan, had not seen it yet.
Okay.
So at first we were trying to pirate it on the Tuesday after it come out. Tried to pirate it, and it was just terrible. And I said, you know what? I'll pay for it. I'm gonna go see it again. And we drove and saw it again. And the other times I saw it, I saw it in a drive-in theater. I saw it like everywhere.
You had to go. You had to like look for a drive-in, right? Like,
there was one left around us. And
yeah, but it's a hike.
It was a decent showing though. I got the Avengers and Hunger Games, the first one. It was a decent double feature for like $8.
Yeah, that's
support
fair.
your local drive-ins when you can. They are totally worth the experience.
While they're still around.
Yeah, they are a dying breed. But yeah, we have Joss Whedon's The Avengers. I looked at the numbers here. Obviously, it broke $1 billion worldwide, and it almost made its entire budget on opening weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty insane to make that that quick. But and then again, this was the event. You know, this was the long-term plan at the time.
And I said it during the movie, like, DC screwed up the Justice League so bad compared to this.
This is so good.
We might be revealing our hands a little early on the grading, but this was a fun rewatch. This was not an Iron Man 2 rewatch.
It was not an Iron Man 2 rewatch.
So let's jump into it. We actually start, and you said you didn't remember the scene.
No, I remember it starting with the helicopter scene, but we start with like Loki getting the scepter and it being kind of like a dream sequence almost.
You get to see a little bit of the Chitauri. You don't know it's them
yet,
but you get to see them.
I could have sworn I don't remember that whole thing. Unless I'm right and the movies didn't have that, but maybe I just didn't pay attention.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
We cut to that. Then we go into the SHIELD base in some unnamed desert.
Yeah,
where we get, Samuel L. Jackson being Samuel L. Jackson. Just being the man.
Yeah, being Nick Fury. Yeah, he's there to report or to check in on the Tesseract, which the doctor from Thor is working on.
Yeah, Selvig. Selvig's working on. So again, they got the Tesseract at the end of Captain America. Mm-hmm. We don't know where it's been since the end of Captain America. We just know SHIELD has it.
Right.
So they have it there. Selvig's working on it, and it's acting up. That's all. That's all we really know. It's acting up.
It's misbehaving.
It's throwing out gamma radiation, but not enough to hurt someone.
Oh, that can hurt someone.
Yeah, there's just some subtle
that can be harmful.
clues throughout the movie. We also have Hawkeye there watching over, kind of just being Hawkeye things.
Doing Hawkeye things.
Just Hawkeye thing. And I thought it was funny because Hawkeye kind of uses common sense. Something you don't always see in these movies. Mm-hmm. Where he says, like, Tesseract's a portal, right? It's a door. The door's open 2 ways.
Yeah.
And it seems to be this revelation. Nick Fury's like, wow, I have never thought about that.
I was looking at this thing like a battery, and now it's a door. And pretty much right as he says that, it opens a portal.
And out comes a dripping wet Loki.
Guys, just moist.
I don't know what. Oh, don't use that word.
He was a wet little boy.
Let's go soggy.
He was a soggy little boy.
Soggy Loki comes out of the thing. So I don't know where the water came from, but it's obviously like he comes out of the portal. Everyone's just like, what's kind of going on? And then he just starts shooting stuff.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do. We also find out that he cannot be shot by bullets. They just kind of bounce off him.
Guardians, immune to bullets. Why not?
Which is an error, I think, for later, but we'll talk about that when that happens. And as he's going around, he starts using the scepter, which we know now is the Mind Stone, to try and convert people into his cause.
Right. Which he gets Hawkeye, he gets Selvig, and then he gets
bunch of randos.
Random dude.
I mean, cannon fodder.
Yeah. You always need cannon fodder.
Hey, meat shields are great. They never go out of style.
And Nick Fury's trying to stall him. That gets ruined by Hawkeye. Essentially, Loki, Hawkeye, and Random Guard 37 is getting in a car to leave. What's her name? Hill.
Shabbatsky.
Hill, who is introduced in this movie, is like pretty much Nick Fury's right hand.
Yeah, she's up there on the totem pole there.
And she's like, "Who's that?" Pointing at Loki, and they say, "Oh, don't worry about it," and pretty much take off. And then Nick Fury's like, "Yeah, by the way, go get them."
See the guy in the green robes? He's not supposed to be here. And we have that awesome chase scene as this building's blowing up. So
in the tunnel.
So Hill is doing that crazy driving thing, which I want to point out, Hawkeye missed. Mm-hmm. Hawkeye missed a shot.
Odin magic.
Okay, sure. But while she's doing that thing, you have Nick Fury in the helicopter chasing around as well. They eventually get rid of Hill. They're about to go away. Fury's shooting at them, and then we find out, scepters and helicopters.
Yeah, scepters beat helicopters if you're playing that game of rock, paper, scissors.
And it blows up, and we start getting the call that we're going to need we're going to need the big guns for this. I kind of like that they do this with the Avengers now. They did it with Age of Ultron 2, where you do that scene first, that like big action sequence, then you go to the title and kind of start the movie that way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty neat that that they do that, because it really sets the tone.
Yeah, I think sets the tone. This is like a big like issue. It's a global concern. It's not just a little baby thing like we've been dealing with. You know, we're not dealing with a New Mexico town. We're not dealing with, well, Malibu's not a small thing, but we're not dealing with just Malibu.
Yeah.
We've got this kind of cinematic big thing going
on. It's kind of a global issue. We
spend the next hour probably of the movie checking in and getting our heroes together. We start with Romanoff in the interrogation scene, which is, I love that scene. It's hysterical.
It's really funny because, I mean, we've seen Black Widow a little bit in Iron Man 2. And we know she can be, like, deceptive and all this. But it's really funny to see her tied to a chair in, like, the worst situation possible and still turn it around.
It looks like oh, they're going to, like, pull her tongue out. There's nothing she could do. And then suddenly you get this call from Coulson.
Yeah, which is, God bless.
Put her on the phone. And the general takes, like, I don't know who you are, but he stops, like, we got an F-16 ready to blow up this entire building in less than 30 seconds if you don't give the phone to her. And he's like, oh.
Okay.
And she reveals, like, oh, yeah, they're giving me all this information.
Yeah, he's like, I got him right where I want him. He's giving me everything. And the guy's like, I'm not. No, I'm not.
And they say, like, no, this is urgent. Like, they have Hawkeye. So she does this crazy scene. She's tied to a chair. Want to point that out one more time. And she just beats the crap out of these three people. And then just kind of walks away, picks up the shoes.
You can't forget the shoes. Those are nice shoes.
They were very nice shoes. And she's instructed to go get the big guy, which she thinks is Tony Stark. Right. And they're like, no.
Yeah. Coulson's like, I got Stark.
You got the big guy.
Yeah, which she...
She's like, oh no. She says something in Russian.
I can only assume it was a curse.
Yeah, probably.
Isn't 90% of that language curses?
Yeah, that or vodka.
Okay.
Are we being stereotypical now?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's good.
That's fine.
I think we cut them back to the Hulk. Is that where we go next, or do we go to Cap?
I think it's the Hulk.
Let's do the Hulk, then we'll do Cap, even if it's the wrong order, we know it. We cut to India, which somehow the Hulk has gotten from... When we last seen him, he was in Western Canada, and now he's in India. So
I mean, look, I feel like it's easy to sneak out of Canada.
Yeah, but, like, you gotta go to a boat or a plane. Probably a boat.
No, it's just like we figured out the Hulk. The Hulk can swim like a champ.
He just swam the Bering Strait to get to Russia, and now we're here. Okay. And then we get our first instance of... Dr. Banner not looking like Dr. Banner very much anymore.
It's been a few years. Gained a little weight, changed his bone structure a little bit.
His voice totally changed, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
We obviously, we no longer have Edward Norton because he wanted that Robert Downey Jr. money.
Good luck.
Good luck. And instead we have Mark Ruffalo.
Which... Oh, I'm so glad we have Ruffalo.
Ruffalo does a really good job in all the movies he's in here playing this character that I don't think Edward Norton could do.
Well, I feel like it's just kind of nice to have, like, Ruffalo's more calm and Norton was more quirky.
Yeah, I buy, like, Ruffalo having the PTSD a lot more.
Yeah.
Because he just has that, like, the way he acts and portrays himself, you can see, like, I've done some crap.
I've been through stuff.
Where Edward Norton kind of says that whiny, like, quirky, I guess is what you would say.
Yeah.
But we go to, we're in Mumbai, I believe he says, and he gets tricked to going to the edge of the city where Black Widow's there.
Yeah.
And we get this whole kind of monologue between, well, I guess not monologue, they're both talking, but dialogue. Yeah.
There you go.
Die. We get the dialogue between them where we kind of go over what's kind of been going on with the Hulk. We find out it's been a year since he's actually had
a little more than a year, they say.
Yeah, an outbreak. You said there's a lot of symbolism in that scene.
There was like this really neat shot. I didn't notice it when I watched it the first few times. There's a really neat shot where he's like, I don't always get what I want. And he's like right near a cradle. He's like pushing it or whatever. It's like, like a family life. All right. I don't know if that was intentional, but probably was, whatever. There's a lot of stuff like that in this that I didn't notice until I actually watched it critically.
As they're having this conversation, Romanoff's trying to tell him, we just want you to find this gamma radiation. You're the expert. We don't want the Hulk. We want Banner.
Right.
And he kind of tests her by like doing that.
So good. He like snaps.
He just snaps for just a second. which is enough for Romanoff to pull a gun out.
Right.
And kind of calms it down, and then we realize, as much as she's been saying they're alone, there's like
the whole building was
40 shield thing, which I like to point out. I didn't notice this before. There were a couple guns that had blue lights on, so these are Tesseract weapons.
Yeah. Which
is kind of interesting, the whole thing, they keep saying phase 2, phase 2, phase 2. Well, obviously they have a little bit of phase 2 already done.
They got a little bit. Yeah, so that covers that. Then I guess we go to Nick Fury, who's talking to
Cap.
Yeah. Cap it's shot for shot the Stinger.
Yeah, it's basically the Stinger from the end of the first Avenger, where he's doing the punching bag with the flashbacks.
Yeah, and Fury comes up and he's like, "Oh, we got him." He's like, "Oh, keep him busy or whatever, blah blah. Got a mission for you," and there's this really funny joke that gets carried over in a little bit where he's like, "I bet I could show you things you haven't seen, or you'd be surprised by the things you see or whatever." And Cap says, "Yeah, I doubt that." He's like, $10, I can prove you wrong.
Yeah, and that does pay off later. There's a couple of those jokes that kind of pay off later, which is always nice to see. It kind of makes you more invested.
And it's funny.
It's funny.
But it's not like overly.
It doesn't
off tone.
Yeah, because there are some of these Marvel movies where the humor can overdo the story.
Yeah,
especially the later ones when we get to those. But this one, it's just subtle. Like, it's just a little thing they throw in there, and then they come back to it. They kind of reveal to Cap the Tesseract has been found. Is found when they were looking for him.
Right.
And they basically say, like, anything we need to know about this, and he says, yeah, you should have left it at the bottom of the ocean.
Which, man, if a fish bumped that and it decided to activate and open a portal, and kind of just teleported the whole ocean into the...
I feel like that would mess with things.
Yeah, I mean, hey, extinction level event caused by a tiny cube.
Literally, that's all the MCU is about. These tiny little things are causing extinction level events.
Rocks are dangerous, is what the MCU has taught me.
Yeah, basically everything will kill you.
It's Australia. The world is Australia.
We live in a version of the Australian world. Which explains Chris Hemsworth. Now I get it.
It does.
We get the first interaction of Coulson and Cap.
Which, oh my god, is so great. It's deliciously awkward.
Like, Coulson does a very good job of every part of the movie, like, being this, like, very tactical, I know what I'm doing, I'm on top of things. And just melts away the second he sees Cap.
He's such a fanboy. He's like, I helped design the suit. I watched you while you slept.
No, you were unconscious when I was in the room.
I was present while you were unconscious.
And it's just like,
Yeah, it's really good.
And they do that a couple times later in the movie. He says, like, can you please sign my cards? Like,
yeah,
they're near mint.
It's like, I got cards near mint. There's a little boxing around the edges, but...
And then but let's bring up the critical thing we have to do with Coulson.
Yeah.
He helped design the suit, which we both agreed is the worst Captain America suit in these movies.
Great character. Coulson's done everything right except that suit.
Yeah, that suit's awful. It literally looks like, I don't know.
Yeah, it just looks so rubbery.
It looks so rubbery. It's like a hoodie. It's just weird. Yeah. It's bad. But we get onto at the time, it's just an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And now we have Rome.
Well, let's step back a bit.
Oh,
Coulson gives Cap kind of like a digital portfolio on a banner, and it starts playing a clip of when he was hulking out, and they took the clip from the Incredible Hulk, which, considering I haven't seen Hulk since we started doing this podcast, and so every other time I watch this, I did not see that movie. I did not have that. They just took it from the movie, which was like kind of a nice bit of continuity. They
do that too, and we actually did skip one scene where Tony is building his arc reactor for his tower with Pepper. And long story short, they're building this thing when Coulson comes.
Yeah, green energy,
a new highlight, giant Stark name in the skyline, which you do see in other movies, which is a nice tie-in. But, very quickly through that, they say, we need you to come here. And he does the same thing. He takes his, see-through laptop thing.
So cool.
And projects it. And then you see all these movie scenes.
Yeah.
For every character. Like, you see the first Avenger, Thor, all happening. Which is cool. So he says he's got to do his homework. Then we get to the helicarrier scene. Where we now have Romanoff with Cap and Banner at the time.
Yeah.
That's all we have there. And then it's still First off, I want to point out we both agree the CG has aged very well in this movie.
CG looked really good. It was
solid A minus.
It was one of the first things we noticed with the Tesseract is that like all the effects and stuff coming off it looks good.
The helicarrier still looks very good.
It's kind of, I think Avengers is where they hit their standard for the CG, and really like got okay. This is how we're rolling with it.
We get the reveal that it's not just an aircraft carrier, it is a helicarrier. And I mean, both of us are just like, this is so cool.
It's so cool to see it rise out of the water.
And then Banner has that amazing line, oh yes, a pressurized flying thing. That's the perfect place for me.
Well, no, because he says it when Cap's like, oh, is this thing a submarine too? And Banner says like, yeah, that's where they want me, a pressurized underwater vehicle or whatever, or underwater tube.
And then the giant fans come out. It's like, oh no, this is much better.
Yeah, it
much
flies.
Better.
It flies. Cool. Okay. So we then go into, is that them meeting? That's them inside the helicarrier, and then Cap hands Fury $10.
Yeah, Cap hands. So there's that payoff to the joke. They're kind of meeting and talking and doing all that. We then cut back to Loki.
Yes.
And Loki has the meeting with the messenger guy.
The like, kind of like court.
He has a name in the comics, but I don't remember it.
I couldn't tell you.
He's the representative of Thanos. Let's just call it. He's the representative of Thanos. Which I thought was interesting because he's talking about how basically the plot comes out that Loki is trading the Tesseract for Earth.
Yeah.
So in exchange for Thanos getting this Infinity Stone, Loki gets the whole planet, which I thought was... I was going to bring this up. I didn't bring it up through the movie. I'll bring it up now. So let's just say, hypothetically, this movie doesn't happen.
Okay.
Loki takes over the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
What does Odin do?
Odin mobilizes the entire Asgardian army.
Like, he's going to see Loki doing this and, like, mobilize it, right? Like, this...
Or he's going to send Thor down and go, like, get your brother.
Go slap him around a little.
Go get your brother.
I don't see any way that, unless Thanos gets involved... that Loki...
Which, if it's after the trade, why would he?
Yeah, he doesn't care. But there's no... I don't see even way... Even if this movie doesn't happen, that Loki keeps Earth for very long.
No.
Because we see later that Chitauri are not that strong, and, like, average Asgardian would probably beat them.
I mean, average Asgardian, Thor plus his buddies... Thor plus his buddies took care of a bunch of frost giants pretty easily.
Yeah, so I
think Thor and his buddies against the Chitauri finding Loki, especially if you could like Bifrost or however they got in, because Bifrost is broken. However they got in directly.
Yeah, never brought up exactly how he gets there.
Odin magic.
Okay.
Directly into Loki's throne room. 9 out of 10 times in that scenario, Loki is done.
Yeah, so really there was no long-term success for Loki if Odin gets involved. Now, maybe Odin's just like, whatever, good for him. He's got a plan now, but I don't think he would have.
I think Odin would have been like, yeah, as Allfather, it's kind of my duty to keep this stuff in line.
Yeah, which again we could talk into the debate. Does he actually do that in his work? But I think he would have if it was Loki.
Yeah.
So just something I thought about. We come back, he's kind of telling him, like, if you fail, there's no place you can hide in this universe from Thanos, which kind of gives Loki that cold sweat.
Yeah. Which, the messenger of Thanos guy has 2 thumbs on one hand.
Yeah, he's weird. And his, like, mouth's all weird. He's got, like, that weird sheen
like
thing. Everything's weird about it, which I guess is the point.
Mm-hmm.
But we come back to it, and he's in his, like, I don't know, underground cave or workshop, or whatever.
Like, science lab. Built under a building or whatever.
And he's talking to Selvig, who has been captured, or not captured, brainwashed. Charmed. Let's go charmed. They've been charmed by Loki and his nice, long locks, which looks so much better than...
He looks so much better with long hair, and Thor looks so much better with short hair.
Yeah, seriously, if they just switched, it'd be perfect. At least in the first one. Sorry, I got lost thinking about that. We get there. He's talking to Selvig. Selvig basically says, "I need this iridium,
iridium to like pretty much make sure the Tesseract doesn't collapse on itself."
Yeah, they said the reason it collapsed in S.H.I.E.L.D. it didn't have this thing to balance it or whatever. Stabilize. Yeah, that's the word. So they say, "Well, where can we get it?" I was like, "Oh, well, there's this museum in Germany. It conveniently has exactly the same amount I need." So they start having the mission where Hawkeye's like, "What do you need?" He's like, "An eye."
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. And we kind of get is that when it jumps to Germany?
We go back to the helicarrier just a little bit, and then I think Banner starts saying like, set this thing up to find the Tesseract.
Oh yeah.
But they do scan and they find Loki, and he's not hiding. He's like out in the open.
Yeah.
And he's at this museum. They're having a gala or something, and he's just kind of walking around, and it's
with a pimp and staff.
He looks very stylish here, and then he just does that awesome thing where he just picks this dude up, throws him onto this like Babylonian table, and just shoves his thing in his eye, and we're just like squirming. And
it's like because he's looking around and smiling, and just
everyone's
like
running away, and he's just gouging this guy's eye out. Meanwhile, Hawkeye's taking all these guards and then puts this device, which basically like
copies.
Almost like digitally prints the eye, so that it will open this thing to get the metal they need.
And Loki decides to stretch his full authority, makes a bunch of clones of himself, gets this huge group of people, and just is like, "Oh, Neil!"
Good, pointing out this is in Germany.
Yeah,
very important to note here. And he makes this it's a pretty interesting speech where like freedom is not natural to you. Your natural thing is to be on your knees.
To be subjugated. Like freedom just leads to chaos.
And chaos is bad. And he's like trying to like convince him like this is better the way you're doing it. And we get this old guy who just stands up and's like, we don't kneel to people like you.
And what Loki says is like, there are no other men like me.
And he's like, there's always men like you. And, obviously we're really throwing that World War II stuff out here, aren't we?
And then General Nazi Puncher himself shows up.
Yep.
Captain America.
He just loves hitting some angry Germans.
Yeah. he actually punches the old guy out.
Yeah, that's in the director's
German man! No,
I do like, though, he's like, the last time we were in Germany, there was a guy telling people to, like, kneel to him. And we didn't get along very well. That's funny.
No, he protects the old guy and then starts a fight with Loki.
Which again, I bring up the point, like, I understand they really didn't have a lot of options yet, but they saw what Loki did to like their entire staff in the SHIELD thing. Yep. It's like, here, Cap, here's this and like one of our gunships. You can handle this, right?
Yeah. So which one of the Black Widow and the gunship is about to open fire on a whole
They pull a gun out with the crowd there. Like, they're like, I mean, if we're going to have casualties, we're going to have casualties, whatever. Oh, it was kind of scary.
But then General Showstopper.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the fight. The fight's very well choreographed. We got a lot of things. It's kind of funny when, like, Cap gets a nice shot on Loki's, like, chin. And he kind of gives that look like, you're supposed to be flying 10 feet away now.
Yeah.
And Loki just kind of looks at him. So it's kind of nice because it's obvious Cap's not used to like hitting a person and them not turning into a human.
He's not used to fighting non-humans.
Yes,
is what it is.
So we get this nice fight scene. There's a lot of choreograph, and then you can go with the showstopper.
So the gunship like pulls his gun out, is about to do whatever, and then you just get like the systems override, and you hear Tony Stark, and he's like, yeah, I got it from here, and AC/DC just fulfilling Tony Stark's AC/DC fetish. Because that just starts blaring. And he comes out in full Iron Man armor.
I like that he knocks Loki down. He opens all his weapons. And you pointed out that he even opens up the back flaps.
Yeah, he opens his like flight flaps. And I was like, why are they open? Like, that's not doing anything.
And the only reason we could give is it's like when you meet a bear, you're supposed to like open your jacket. Bigger.
You pretty much like tried to peacock Loki.
It works.
It works.
So we capture Loki here. We also, this is the first time Rogers is meeting Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because I think Cap has this like opinion of Howard Stark.
Yeah.
Because that's the Stark he knows, and Tony's not like Howard at all.
No.
I mean, there's some similarities, obviously, but they're not the same person at all.
No.
So it's kind of interesting dynamic you get throughout the movie. They're on the ship taking Loki out, and then we get the giant thunderstorm out of nowhere.
Which leads to a really cool interaction where Loki's all looking around nervous and Cap's like, what, you afraid of lightning? Or afraid of a little lightning? And Loki says like, I'm not terribly fond of what comes after.
And then out of nowhere comes Thor, who opens the back of it, takes Loki and jumps out.
Tony's like, all right, let's go get him. And Captain America's like, we need a plan of attack. And Tony's just like, I have a plan. Attack. And flies out.
Meanwhile, Cap gets on his parachute, and Romanov's just like, you don't want to do this. They're basically gods. And he's like, only know one God, ma'am, and he doesn't dress like that.
Which, hey man, old-fashioned religion.
And we can confirm he is not Hindu.
Right. Maybe he's Jewish.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from Brooklyn. It's possible.
What if he just flew out? He's like, Yahweh knows the way. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm just imagine like a crunch down Captain America, like the Knuckles. That's going to be so dated by the time this comes out.
The dated memes.
Alright. We get this cool fight scene between Thor and Iron Man. And do you want to talk about your big complaint you have with the fight scenes?
Yeah, my biggest complaint with this movie, not the fight scenes. I like the fight scenes. It's the final like action sequence. Is they do some really cool like Thor hits Iron Man with lightning, and it like overcharges his suit to like 400%. So he just blasts him with like a bunch of lasers. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then there's a point when Captain America comes in, it's like, hey, stop it, put the hammer down. And he like, Thor's like, put the hammer down. All right, I'll put the hammer down. And he goes and slams on the shield, and it makes this giant shockwave. And like, why don't they do any sweet combos like that?
In the final scene.
In the final scene. Because it's like, do you realize the destructive power that has? And I get it, you're trying to keep things at a minimum. But you can, like, overcharge Iron Man and give him, like, super lasers again for, like, a second.
I mean, I made the argument that this is, like, the first time they're meeting. Maybe they don't know all this. Yeah. But you were very adamant throughout the whole movie about this.
Man, if we can suspend our disbelief for the fact that not every one of these characters is either paralyzed or concussed.
So much CT.
Like, throughout their movies, I think we can suspend the disbelief that they would think of these sweet combos on the fly.
The only note I have for this fight is no one wins in a headbutt.
No one wins in a headbutt.
Iron Man tries to headbutt him because he's like, oh, I've got this giant metal helmet. It'll do something. And then Thor just headbutts him back and has this giant dent on the outside of it. No one wins in a headbutt.
We get some pretty classic Stark sass here. Of
Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah, where he tackles Thor and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, don't take my things. And he's just like, you have no idea what's going on here. He's like, Shakespeare in the Park. Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
There's so many good lines in this movie.
It's honestly really quotable.
It is a very quotable movie.
Okay, so they get Loki. They take him back to the helicarrier. Thor's with them now.
Yeah, so everyone's here now.
Yeah.
Everyone's here on the helicarrier. They're kind of going through the introductions. Thor's kind of laid out the plan that Loki has the Chitauri. He plans to conquer Earth. I need the Tesseract to, like, get him out of here or something like that.
Right.
Because I guess whatever got him to Earth, it's a one-way ticket.
That's assumed.
That's assumed, and apparently he can use the Tesseract to get back to Asgard.
Right.
To which they say, like, well, the Tesseract's ours, and they've got to find it. They're going to do all that here. And we get, like, I love the... as they're doing this, Loki's locked up in the giant metal cage.
Yes.
Which then, another thing that they call back to on Fury's like, ants meet boot.
Yeah,
he said, I can drop this at any time. The thing I did kind of have an issue with this movie, maybe, I don't know how, but Loki knows way too much about these people, like all the Avengers, for never meeting them. Like,
right.
He knows Thor, but he knows so much, like, he knows the Hulk, he knows all these things. Right. I don't know how he got that knowledge, unless it's like he got it from the Mind Stone.
Thanos or the Mind Stone, maybe.
Hawkeye told him, maybe. Like, it's not implied, which it's not a major issue. It's just a minor one. But he kind of makes that thing like, oh, there's a bigger monster on here than me.
Yeah.
And Fury then says, let me know if you need a magazine. To which I said, what magazine do you think Loki would read in there?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't strike me as a time guy. Maybe Cosmopolitan?
That's a good one.
Cosmo?
Yeah, Cosmo's a good one. I was going to say, like, maybe, like, Men's Health?
Oh, Men's Health.
Men's Health? You think he'll just get, like, Men's Health?
I feel like Men's Health might be more of a Thor one, but I can see Loki getting in on that.
Yeah, I think so. Or said maybe Better Home and Garden.
Mad?
No, I don't know if he's a mad guy. If you know what magazine Loki would be reading in this, why don't you comment? Hashtag Loki's reading time.
Loki's reading time.
Loki's reading time.
Loki's corner.
Loki's corner. There we go. We get these quotes that, like, they're insulting Loki, and Thor's like, watch, he's Asgardian, my brother. He's like, well, he killed 80 men. He's like, well, he's adopted.
He's adopted, brother.
And they make the flying monkeys thing, and Cap's like, I understood that reference.
I understood that reference.
For once, Cap understood something.
And then what Thor says to Coulson, he's like, it's like a Bildschnipe. And Coulson's like, a what? He's like, Bildschnipe, scaly, big horns, don't have those here?
Run over everything?
Yeah, he's like, no.
It's just really nice when they're all in the room the first time. You get a lot of these quips back and forth.
Yeah.
Tony comes in talking all this science, and everyone's like, English, please. And then Banner's like, oh, I got this. And then keeps talking science.
Oh, yeah, no. He starts talking. Like, he starts saying all this stuff. And then Banner picks up on it. And he's just like, finally, somebody speaks English. And Cap's just like, is that what just happened? It's really good.
When did you become an expert in astrophysics? Last night.
Was I the only one who did the reading? So
it's a pretty cool scene there. That man's playing Galaga, another one that came out.
Oh, there. Yeah. Stark points out that some dude's playing Galaga, which is later confirmed.
And as soon as he leaves, he goes back to playing it. We get the other thing I point out, Loki's plan, again, maybe he has more info than we led to believe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
A lot of assumptions that things are going to go his way. Like, he's put a lot of risk here.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get this all going. So, basically, everyone's going to look for the Tesseract. Tony has bugged the entire helicarrier and is hacking into it because he thinks it's weird that S.H.I.E.L.D. has this.
Yeah.
He has Tesseract, and what could they possibly be using it for? Like, why was it, if Tony has just made this huge announcement that he's working on green energy, why wasn't he brought in if the plan is to make an energy source?
Right.
So, Banner and Stark are a little fishy on this. Cap's trying to, like, it's a mission, guys. Like, you can tell he's got this thing, like, I take orders, I know they're doing what's right, I trust these people, where obviously the scientists are a little like,
Yeah, but they plant that seeded out in Cap because he goes looking.
Yeah, so like he does go looking there. We kind of figure out they all come to the conclusion. Try that one more time. They all come to the conclusion at roughly the same time that Phase 2 is weaponizing the Tesseract. Stark pulls up these diagrams of missiles and all that, and Cap has gone into storage. And I brought this up during the movie and finds all this old Hydra stuff. So, this may be the only helicarrier at the time. We know they make a couple more later.
Yes.
But there's other S.H.I.E.L.D. bases.
Right.
Why are there just Hydra relics on this helicarrier that's going to, like, be your walking battle station right now?
I don't know. It was very convenient.
What is it, Red Skull magic?
Red Skull? Nick Fury? We don't have a go-to excuse for this one.
No, this one's just weird. He just opens it and there's all this Hydra stuff, they're weapons. And again, we pointed out earlier that some of these S.H.I.E.L.D. soldiers did have Hydra weapons at the Hulk thing, but no one else knew that.
Right.
So, but they kind of come to this conclusion, like, Phase 2 is weaponizing the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, why do you want to do this? There's no point. And they just points at Thor, is like, because he came and destroyed an entire town in New Mexico without even trying.
Yeah.
Which, again, we kind of point out, he didn't destroy the whole town. He destroyed, like...
They say he leveled a town. It's like, okay... He did a lot of damage to a small town.
He destroyed, like, the main street.
Leveled means nothing stands.
You know, burn and salt the earth.
I'm not saying the Destroyer and Thor couldn't have leveled the town, but they didn't.
And, I mean, I want to know which side you kind of think on this. So, do you think... I mean, I kind of agree with what Fury's saying, though. Like, everyone's kind of like, you're trying to make a nuclear deterrent that just makes the other people make bigger guns. But at the same time, he's like... We literally just had aliens come last year and show that we cannot handle diddly squat in the universe.
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make it a good call.
I don't know, man.
Just... I don't know. I'm not... Look, there's a whole movie that's like 5 movies from now called Civil War that deals with this issue. Let's just...
Yeah, I don't know if it deals with this issue.
It deals with similar issues. Let's just save it for that.
But then we start seeing the tearing apart of the Avengers. Everyone's kind of going at each other's throats. We have Cap and Tony. Mm-hmm. Cap's like, put the suit on. Let's go. Put the suit on. Which, again...
Oh, one of my favorite Tony Stark lines is like, you're just a man with a suit. What are you without that? And he's like, billionaire, or genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Yeah, and it's just like that. He's obviously practiced that. He said that
in the
before.
mirror. He's like, I got this.
If this ever happens, I know exactly what I'm going to say. We get the kind of the backstory of the Hulk that he's like so desperate to get out of this. He tried to kill himself, and the Hulk literally wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
So it's like a protective thing, which I've been kind of hinting at the whole time. Where like, Tony said, like, you know, the Hulk saved your life.
Yeah, that much gamma exposure should have killed you.
So and Ruffalo or Banner's kind of saying that thing like, yeah, but what did it save me for? And Tony's like, well, I don't know. You gotta figure that out.
You find out.
I'm not a psychiatrist. I just do everything else. But we get this tearing apart of the Avengers is very, obviously, on a knife's edge. In fact, to the point that Ruffalo, I'm just going with Ruffalo. Ruffalo picks up the scepter without anyone noticing, which I thought was going to, like, play into something, but it's just kind of there. Like, you would think it'd be, like, a little deeper. Like, if you're going to point that, like, everyone freaks out as soon as he picks it up. Right. And everyone's just like, why don't you put that down? And he like, doesn't even realize he's holding it. So, it makes me think, like, maybe, like, Loki's remotely controlling all this? It is the Mind Stone.
That or the Mind Stone's just doing what it does.
Mind Stone being Mind Stone.
Just Mind Stone things.
And as they're having this argument, Hawkeye, brainwash Hawkeye, and his cronies, arrow magic.
Oh my god. He is... People are like, Hawkeye's just super accurate. He's an arrow wizard. The stuff he pulls off, he like curved an arrow perfectly into the jet. No.
Arrow bending.
He's the arrow. He's the Aerotar.
Blows up one of the engines. Everyone goes off, and then right there, Cap's like, "Yeah, go put the suit on."
Yeah,
he's like, "Okay,
put the suit on. Put the suit on.
Put the suit on." And we get this whole scene where like they're trying to, Cap and Tony are trying to keep the helicarrier afloat.
Yeah.
Romanoff is with the Hulk, who's now his blood pressure's over the 100, which again, they don't have the heartbeat monitor in any of these movies now.
Yeah. I think that would have been a nice carryover, but maybe because they switched actors, they didn't.
It might have been that, or it might have been just like, it gives them more freedom to not do that.
To not, like, rely, like then no one can really call the BS.
Like at the end when he says, I'm always angry, just automatically turns, you don't have to worry about, he's like got to do like some push-ups quick to get that going.
Jog around the block, I'll be right back. Give me a second. Yeah.
So maybe it gives him more freedom. But he turns into the Hulk on the helicarrier, starts chasing Romanoff. We get that kind of scene. It's like a little bit of a horror movie there.
Which I've said before. Like they always do it every time the Hulk's like kind of in a scene that so far. A Hulk horror movie wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I just don't know how you would do that.
A bunch of people trapped in a place. One of them happens to be Bruce Banner. Then you get scenes in between where it's Bruce. Then like Bruce is gone. Hulk's out. Hulk's there, that's the monster. At the end, the twist is, oh my god, he was the Hulk.
I guess the only thing I would say is, like, you would need someone who could, like, put oh my gosh, what about a Wolverine Hulk movie?
There is a movie.
That's a cartoon movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what just brought in my mind. Like, that'd be cool, like, Wolverine, a bunch of mutants are locked in, and then, like, the Hulk's doing that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay.
Oh man, but I want Hugh Jackman back now.
Yeah. Oh well, he's too busy running circuses.
Oh yeah, he's running circuses. He's good with freaks. We said that during the movie.
He's good with freaks.
They make that line like you have a bunch of misfits and freaks. Like, well, Hugh Jackman's great with those, so we're good. So we get that. Eventually, Hulk starts fighting Thor, and we get those cool scenes of Hulk and Thor. I love the scene. He throws Mjolnir, and Hulk tries to pick it up, and he can't. And he's like doing all this, and then Thor just does this jump donkey punch into the back of his head. It's great. Cap and Tony are trying to fix it. Tony's doing all the fixing and trying to explain all the science to Cap, and he's like, well, what do you see? It's like, it runs on electricity.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
We're in the flight deck. You get Samuel L. Jackson and Colby Schmutters, Hill and Fury doing a shooting contest with all the nameless minions.
Which, this is a great sequence that kind of shows, like, all this is happening at the same time.
Yeah, they just cut away. It's almost seamless the way it's cutting in and out.
Like it's not like frustrating where it's like, oh, I want to see what happens here. It's like, oh my god, like it all makes sense. This is all happening at once.
So you got again this 3 separate incidents happening at the same time, kind of blending together. Let's just start nailing off one by one. They get the Hulk off the plane or the helicarrier.
Yeah.
By shooting bullets at from one of its planes. Hulk's off. Once that does, Thor goes to the cage room.
Yes.
And sees that Loki is out. He tries to spear tackle him, which obviously Loki uses his illusion thing. And now Thor is in the giant metal cage.
Yeah, which leads to exactly what you think it would. But people try to stop Loki. Certain Agent Coulson.
Agent Coulson brings out the destroyer gun, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to threaten him, but he gets stabbed through the chest.
Which is, I mean, that's a big part because Coulson was kind of the tie-in for all the heroes of how they all knew this one person.
Yeah, they all knew this one person. He had connections with Pepper. They're talking all the time.
With Stark, he had connections with Thor.
He's a fanboy of Cap.
So
I guess he's really not connected to the Hulk, but really no one's connected to the Hulk, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know he's back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm just shocked he has never come back in a movie.
What would that do, though? What would that do to the dynamic they have?
I don't know, it just brings him back.
Like would they be like, oh, fuck, now we can't trust S.H.I.E.L.D. even more?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'd be like, yeah, you've been lying to us this whole time. But, I don't know. He gets stabbed. Then he does have that final say later on when he does shoot Loki with a destroyer gun.
And he's like, oh, that's what
I love how much Loki gets ragged on in this movie.
Loki is like the tantruming child who constantly gets his karma in this movie.
Yeah. And it's just great. He's great durability.
Yeah, Asgardian. Well, Frost Giant.
Apparently, Frost Giants can take a lot more than we think.
Yeah.
Or Odin magic. The one thing I did say there, Thor does have his hammer in the cage, and he hits it once and cracks it, and then just stops.
Well, because it'll drop. Remember they said even if you scratch the glass, it'll drop. Yeah, really, he could have been like, okay, bang, 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 just bang, bang, break, fly.
And just fly out. It's great. Like, it's fine. But, I mean, I guess that does make sense, but I was thinking, like, we just watched Thor, and he broke a Bifrost bridge with his hammer. I think he could have broken some human glass.
Yeah.
While that's going on, Tony's fixing the spinning of the turbine. He needs Cap to pull this lever that's going to basically drop the bottom out of it to get him out.
Yeah.
But there's a Hydra. Well, they're not Hydra. I'm sorry. We're skipping ahead.
They're Lokians.
Lokiites are shooting at him, and he almost falls off. He's hanging on by this little thread here as it's happening. Tony does fix it using he uses like the special laser and like pushes it.
He has one charge laser.
And the whole time he's like, okay, you need to pull the lever. And he doesn't pull it, so now he's just getting
pretty much smashed between the two turbines.
Blended between the bottom and the turbines, which Cap finally does get out of there. He pulls the lever under bullet fire, so it's kind of like a World War II scene. He's like crawling underneath the barbed wire or something, and you see all these bullets flying by. But he pulls the lever, drops Iron Man. He's now all beat up.
Spear tackles the dude.
Iron Man spear tackles the last dude, and then gets out. He's just like, So that's how that scene ends. Finally, in the helicarrier main room, we get Hawkeye using the cyber arrow.
Yeah, the hacker arrow, which, by the way, if he's off by a centimeter, would not work because the prongs would just smash into the side of the console.
Well, Hawkeye doesn't miss unless he's shooting a gun.
Arrow wizardry.
Arrow bending.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Gets this virus in that shuts it down. Now we're dropping. Eventually, because they were able to fix the third turbine, they do get away. You knew it wasn't going to fall in the sky. That was just...
God, the destruction that would have caused.
Yeah, they're get it over the ocean. I don't know which way. It's where's the sun? Go left.
Yeah.
They save the helicarrier. Tony's all beaten up. Cap's exhausted. Thor's on the ground somewhere. Hulk is in a abandoned factory. So they're all kind of scattered. We do get one more scene. We get the Romanoff and Hawkeye fight.
Yeah. She close quarter combats him pretty good.
Again, some great choreography.
Yeah.
Hawkeye gets CTE.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joins the bunch. Everyone has CTE now.
Apparently, the only way, the number one way to cure Loki magic is just knock him out.
Yeah, just get hit very hard in the head.
Give them a concussion, they're cured.
Another thing I do like is when they do, I know we're skipping a little ahead, when they do get the rehab Hawkeye, I love the filter they use.
The super thermal filter.
So cool. Colors are really neat, and it's
oversaturated, but
it's really cool. So Fury gets together. I guess it's just Tony and Cap, maybe Romanoff at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Phase 2 was not my number one priority. It was my backup plan. Phase 1 was, my main plan was getting a group of individuals that could do the job that we could never do. Obviously referring to them. At that point, Tony storms out.
Yeah, and it's important to know that Fury did throw out the bloody Captain America cards that Coulson had in his pocket.
Yeah, again, you're playing to the sentimental part that they all knew him.
Right.
Yeah, and then you get that reveal. It was like, they weren't in his pocket, and he's just like, they needed the push.
Yeah.
You think that's a secret he takes to his grave?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think he ever tells, like, Cap, hey, by the way, like...
No way.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, Tony, let's see, Tony's going back to New York. Thor's looking at his hammer like, can he do this? Hulk gets new pants from some guy.
The real character-defining moment there.
You have a condition, son.
Yeah. Are you an alien? No. Then you have a condition.
I didn't think these were going to fit you till you shrank back down. Which, again, how did he know he was going to shrink back down?
I don't know.
Yeah, so... We get this together. Cap goes on, and he gets one of the plane things.
Yeah.
They have the reveal. We skipped ahead. Where Tony's like, what's Loki going to do now? He wants an audience. He's a diva. He wants a parade. He wants flowers. He wants his name up in the sky. And he's like, oh, crap, that's exactly what I would do. And he knows where he's going now. It's New York, which is the Stark Tower, because he has the new arc reactor energy. So we go there. Tony gets there first. And we didn't talk about this earlier, but the suits thing that he walks on.
Oh yeah, when he lands on Stark Tower and then like this ring comes up and he like it totally undoes his suit and it's so cool.
It's like he's casually walking away. It's the coolest thing. It might stop me being able to say mute to mute a TV.
Oh yeah.
It's like 1-2.
I feel like after he installed that he was like, all right, I'm gonna do this for the next like hour.
Oh yeah, he
like filmed it.
He just kept walking. He like had music playing while he's doing it.
He's like dancing.
Oh, absolutely. He was doing that.
That's such a Tony Stark move.
Loki's already there. The Tesseract's fully functioning. There's nothing they can do to stop it now.
Mm-hmm.
So we get this talk. Tony behind the bar. Loki, and he's like, you come here to like grovel? He's like, no, threaten.
Yeah, threaten. And Loki's like, you should have put the suit back on for that.
He's like, yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's just like, yeah, probably.
Probably.
And he keeps saying, like... I mean, he's just like, I've already seen your team, there's nothing you can do. And he's like, yeah, well, we got some kinks to work out, but it's fine. And he goes on this huge speech, eventually ends like, we may not be able to defend the world, but you know we're going to avenge the world.
Yeah.
And he tries to convert him.
And it just hits the reactor in his chest.
And Tony keeps going, he's like, male performance, 1 out of every 5. And
it just gets thrown across the room. Which he gets thrown out the window, and they launch the Mark 7, which is contending for coolest.
So it's wristband it's censored.
Two wristband trackers, and then this pod fires out of the wall, goes after him off the window, scans the sensors. It's like, okay, yeah, this is it. Then just like unwraps and like kind of wraps around Tony and makes this sweet suit.
So yeah, the 2 coolest suits I can think of that Iron Man... Well, 3, because I love the Hulkbuster too. So you got the Hulkbuster, you've got this one, you've got the suitcase suit. Which one are you taking? I guess let's get the Hulkbuster out. That's totally different. Let's go suitcase.
So this one gets adapted in 3. Because in 3, it's not just... It's not like in the pod.
Yeah.
So, because in 3 it's like piecemeal, almost like it comes in parts.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is kind of akin to the suitcase because it does like unwrap and you see all like the insides and stuff, and it's like putting the pieces on and stuff. It is really cool. I like it a lot. So I think I'm going to say this one.
I think I like the suitcase more just because like it's just so cool. Like you can carry around the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
And he just like throws it down and boom, suit's on.
Stretches it out. And there is more physical action with that one.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool that he can make that technology fit there.
Yeah.
So, and then we start the fight there scene now. We've got Cap's on the scene in the plane. Loki, of course, shoots it down because, it's a plane, so Loki has to shoot it down.
Right.
Cap's on the street now with Hawkeye and Romanoff. Thor gets there. He starts trying to talk Loki down.
Which ends with a shanking.
ends with a shank. I mean, he keeps like trying to trust him, and it's just like, nope, shank.
Yeah.
How many times he's been shanked now? Like 4 times?
Yeah, something like that.
He gets stabbed so much. Asgardian durability. And as it's happening, the portal opens up, the Chitauri come out, and we start this fight over New York. They're blowing everything up. It's a disaster porn.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything's blowing. It's kind of like Man of Steel. It's like the one thing these DC and Marvel have in common. They can blow cities up pretty well.
That's true.
We start seeing them trying to like fight separately, doing all this, and eventually Hulk gets there later after they've been fighting for a little bit on a moped, and it's so funny. Like in the heat of the battle here,
you see that,
and he's just like, "We might need you to get angry." And that's my secret.
I'm always angry, which I still
make sense of this.
I still don't understand. Like the whole rules are if you're angry, so what? He can just. That pretty much tells me I'm always angry, so I can decide when I want to Hulk out, unless I can't.
Yeah, there's really no rhyme or reason to this, especially when you get into like Avengers 2 and Thor 3. It's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Gamma magic.
Radiation.
Just radiation.
Radiation. That's our excuse for this film. Radiation.
And he just punches the giant whale thing.
Oh, yeah, stops it in its tracks.
I'm not going to go through scene by scene this entire sequence, but it's just
amazing.
So many great shots. I think the 2 that stand out to me, obviously the famous going in the circle where they're all...
Oh, yeah, it's not a roll call, but it's almost like a roll call.
Mm-hmm. And the other scene that sticks out to me, you've got this one scene where like you're following Iron Man, who then goes into a fight with Cap, who's going to Hawkeye. It's all kind of one cut.
Yeah, it's really fluid. It's really cinematic. There's a sweet Cap after Banner Hulks out. There's Cap's like giving directions, like, all right, Hawkeye, you get up on that building. Let us know of patterns and stragglers. Tony, you get a perimeter. Like, make sure none of them go past this area. Widow and me are gonna stay on the ground, keep the fight here, and then Thor, you go up and like bottleneck the portal so that way nothing can get through, slow him down, and then he just turns to Hulk and goes, Hulk, smash.
Yeah, and then it's just you see the scene of him throwing everything up. Like I'm not gonna talk about all this because we can't do it justice. Just go watch it.
Watch the movie.
You're gonna watch it anyway. It's
an amazing sequence.
Or you have watched it already.
Yeah.
You get this amazing sequence. The council, which had been mentioned throughout the movie, trying to order Fury around, basically overrides Fury, and they start launching the nuclear weapon because they think that's the only thing that's going to stop it.
Right.
So Tony has to take this nuke,
betraying what Cap said about him earlier in the movie.
That he's not. Yeah, that he's
you're not a hero. You're selfish. You wouldn't lay on the line for another guy. You wouldn't make that sacrifice call.
And then Tony says, oh, no, I just cut the line.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not always an option. And this is exactly that thing. He sees that this is coming, and he takes the missile up and aims it straight at the Chitauri home thing.
Yeah.
And, he's in there. I mean, you tried to explain it, but his suit just totally shuts down, even though it's powered by his arc reactor.
Yeah, I think it was maybe like the freezing thing for the first one.
Sure.
It's like space conditions. I don't know. It's honestly a really sad scene because he's trying to call Pepper and she doesn't answer. And it's a whole thing, and he is falling, and Cap makes a call. He's like, just close the portal. And last second he falls out.
And Hulk saves him, picks him up, and
grabs
him and saves him and yells at his face to wake him up.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to point out, we get the droid army with the Chitauri.
Yeah.
The bomb goes off, blows it up. It's now Phantom Menace. Everything just...
Yeah. Yeah, that... I don't know.
It's just... That's a little lazy.
I feel like it is, because there's this whole cleanup scenario now, but it's nah, it's good.
I think it's just lazy.
It made more sense in episode 1, and I try not to give that movie any credit.
Yeah, if episode 1 makes more sense than something you're doing, that's not good. Especially because the Chitauri seem to be living things. Biomechanic at the very least. Not biological. They scream his face, they wake him up, and then they capture Loki. And that's another line I like in here. Loki's like, it's all the same to you. I'll take that drink now.
Yeah, which is really good.
We get to the final scene. They're going through and interviewing people, and you kind of start seeing that divide. You see definitely a lot more people like, Avengers are awesome. This is great.
Yeah, like they saved us. There's a great. I only know the actor because I watch popular series Critical Role, and she's in a lot of video games. And
you
stuff.
should say watch it, so then they'll say to watch ours. Then that's how.
Yeah. Hey guys, watch Critical Role. It's really great if you like D&D.
Now we're definitely gonna get a shout out on theirs, right? That's how this works.
My mercer, please notice me, senpai. No, Ashley Johnson plays this waitress who has this whole thing at the end about like, Captain America saved me. I just like to say thanks. And then we come to the Lee cameo, so, the latest Lee cameo in the movie I think.
It is one of the later ones. I think. Oh, technically, the latest would be Guardians 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is the latest one.
But as of now, the latest
at this moment,
because it's Stanley in an interview playing chess in the park, and he says superheroes in New York. That's ridiculous.
Meh.
I liked it.
It's okay.
I thought it was funny.
I mean, it just seems like he's a flat earther. Like if he lives in New York, he just saw all this happen. Yeah. Like, is he just saying, nah, it was just like some scripted movie or something. Like, nothing blew up, no one died. Like,
I don't know.
He's just like a flat earther.
I liked it.
Okay, you liked it.
Because it was funny. Like, it was just Stan Lee cameos. I'd look as just goofs.
Well, as high as I went in the last one, maybe you'll carry the torch on this one.
So
we get this kind of closing sequence where Fury's like, we're not tracking them. They'll come back when we need them. Loki and Thor go back to Asgard with the Tesseract. Cap's on a bike, going somewhere. I think, is it Banner and Tony doing science things, or they?
Yeah. There's the whole meme at the end of like it became a meme of like, hop on, guys, we're going to go do science.
We missed something.
What did we miss?
So in the scene, where Ruffalo turned back to, where the Hulk turned back to Ruffalo.
Yeah.
He gets his pants. Little Ruffalo side butt.
Yeah, Ruffalo side butt. Not full on.
But I think if we go back to Captain America, you would have been okay with not even full on.
I would have been okay with a little side butt.
Yeah. So, again, we're now at least 5 of the 6 movies.
Just show the butt. Just show the butt. Go back, reshoot Captain America, show the butt.
We get this closing sequence. Everyone's happy. Great music plays.
Yeah.
We get 2 stingers at the end of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One that actually matters and one that's just funny. The one that actually matters, the messenger guy that's been saying, like, they've been thwarted on Earth. To fight Earth now is to court death, and we get
Thanos
looking thing.
Smile.
Gives it, Thanos looking thing.
Yeah.
Which, again, did you know that, like, who that was when you first saw it?
No.
Yeah, I had no idea either. But I know there are a lot of people, like, going, ah! I was like, oh, this must be important.
I'm not going to pretend I did. I did not.
No, I had no idea.
But interesting, because as over the years learned more about Thanos, married to death.
Which can actually happen now in the MCU when you watch Thor 3.
We'll get there.
You really need to watch that.
I should.
There's like 2 weeks in a row now.
Yep.
And then we get the final cutscene where it's just them eating shawarma.
Which is great, because they're not even like casual clothes. It's like Tony still the messed up armor.
So a funny story, actually, though. You'll notice Cap just has his hand over his mouth like this the entire time.
Yeah.
The reason he's doing that is he had facial hair, because it was shot way after the movie was done.
Right.
And he had facial hair from the movie he was doing that he couldn't shave.
Oh.
So he had to get dressed up, and that's why he's just covered. He doesn't move. Just covers his mouth up, because he actually has facial hair growing.
What movie was he doing?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe, what's that train one? Snowpiercer? Maybe
it was Snowpiercer.
Maybe Snowpiercer? I don't know. I just remember reading that somewhere that, like, that's why he has his hand there and doesn't move. He had some sort of facial hair for that.
That's interesting. Well, there's, if we're talking about trivia, there's a scene on the helicarrier where Tony pulls out the bag of, like, blueberries or whatever and starts eating. I don't know if this is true. I read it online, so I'm not going to say it's 100% true.
It's 100% true.
Apparently...
Breaking news.
Robert Downey Jr. was just, like, sneaking snacks onto the set and hiding them so he could eat while they were filming. And eventually, they just stopping it. And they're like, fine, just do it.
And then they just filmed it?
Yeah. And it's like... So, like, him eating and then offering Mark Ruffalo, like, blueberries and, like, Captain America blueberries is, like, totally off script. but it's just so that character.
Yeah, it's not only Tony Stark, it's Robert Downey Jr. It seems totally like what he would do. All right, Connor.
Yes.
That does it. We're done phase 1.
Woo, what a phase.
And now we've got to rank it.
Hey, turns out it was just a phase, Mom. I've been waiting to make that joke for a while.
All right, guys. We're ending the podcast. Yeah, thank you for joining us. We gave 6 weeks. That's more than 90% of podcasts, I think, but this is it. We're done. We're done. All right, we got to go on the shield scale. Okay. We got to rank this movie. Yep. We're looking at the scoundrel, the hero, the integrity, entertainment, Lee.
Yes.
And development.
Yeah.
So let's start with scoundrel, the villain here. I'm guessing we're going to lump Loki and the Chitauri together on this. Why don't you go first on this?
Loki's motivations were way better than it was in Thor, so I'll take that.
Yeah, it makes a little bit of sense. I think the one thing I'm going to knock on Loki is there's a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
A lot of assumptions, and there's kind of some things like, how does he know this already? But I think he does have, it's an interesting plan. I like the idea that he's trading the Tesseract for Earth so he can, be a proper king, because that's what he should be.
Right. Yeah, he passes one of the key things, I think, what makes a good villain is doing what he thinks is right. Like he is convinced what he's doing is the right thing to do. He's not doing it just to be evil or anything. He's doing it because this is right. This is what I deserve. So I like him better than I do in Thor. So I think I'll jump him up to a 3 in this one.
You're gonna go 3, okay?
I'll jump him up to a 3.
So the one thing I think we're gonna go 3 as well. I was actually gonna go 3.5, but the one thing I think is gonna hold back is not actually Loki. I think the Chitauri are just very.
They're faceless,
generic swarm thing.
Yeah. It was to give a numbers threat.
Yeah, so and that's kind of boring. I feel like you could do stuff with that. You don't have to make it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you couldn't. I don't know.
So we gotta change the category a bit because it's not just hero in this one. Heroes, which is interesting.
So how are the heroes portrayed in this?
Well, I remember first seeing it thinking that it was kind of an Iron Man showcase, but rewatching it. Not so much. Still a little bit. A lot of focus on him.
I mean, he's making $50 million. You gotta give him his...
Yeah, well, you gotta get use of him.
Yeah.
But, Captain America is great. Iron Man's great. Thor does a great job. All of them did great. They stayed true to their characters, and the tension there was really good.
I like the ideologies don't change. You can see the conflict there, but at the end of the day, they come together for that.
It's okay, we got to do this. We might not agree on it, but we got to do this. Which is interesting because, as satisfying as it is to see a bunch of superhero friends, they can't start off that way,
Yeah.
And later in the movies, they are kind of more superhero friends. Less tension.
Super friends.
No, I'm not using that term. Less tension between them, but it's still kind of there.
They're they're colleagues now.
Yeah, they're kind of like coworkers. So, and it's interesting now because from here on out, it's they know each other.
Yeah, now you got that connection. And again, someone always brought up the issue they thought after this movie is well, now you can't do a Thor movie because why isn't, Iron Man in it? Or you can't do a Captain America movie because Hawkeye should be there too. So that did kind of, that doesn't come up, but that was always, I remember that was a big threat. How can you do these individual movies after this?
Well, they still have their own stories.
Yeah, and I know that, but I remember when I watched it, that was everyone's why are they going to keep making movies? It's not going to make sense. And then how do you...
We think Tony, it makes sense for the characters. Tony Stark would absolutely go up and be no, I don't need help. This is me.
Yeah, and Cap's still doing government stuff. He can't bring the Hulk to a secret covert mission.
Yeah.
So, but I just remember that being a thing.
And Thor can't necessarily bring them to Asgard.
Well,
he can, but
well, you gotta see Thor 3.
Okay, fine. I'm not allowed to say anything on Thor anymore until I see Thor 3.
Nope, thank you. You're learning. All right, so what are you giving the heroes here?
Heroes, man, I'll give it a solid 4. I think they work together.
Okay, you're gonna give it a 4.
They work together well. Their characters stayed the same from their movies, and it's like you said, they have those clashing ideologies, but at the end of the day, they work together well.
Yeah, I'll go 4 too. I think that hits the nail on the head. It's very good. I think that it does get better, so I don't want to go 5. Yeah. Integrity. So how does this movie hold up?
Man, this movie holds up really well.
It's gonna be a first
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
5.
Yeah.
5 on integrity.
I'm doing 5. It holds up great. I mean, I feel like watching this today, I didn't feel like I was watching Iron Man 1, where it's like, well, this is dated. It's just totally different style, totally different quality.
We said the CGI holds up. The storyline's still great. The characters look great. Actually...
Well, that's
guys, I'm gonna drop it. I'm dropping it 4.75 because I hate Cap suit.
All right, fine. Yeah, we'll go.
Come on, you can stay with there.
Yeah, you know what? No, because the suit doesn't ruin it for me.
You're going 5
We're staying 5.
All right. So 4.75.
I mean, there weren't any dated references.
As a Cap fan, I hate that suit though.
Yeah, that's fair. If Iron Man's suit looked dumb, I probably would have done the same thing.
So. I'm sorry, Coulson. You're costing the team here.
But well, he paid for it.
Oh.
With his life.
Oh.
He paid the price.
He just went to Tahiti.
Whatever. I don't watch that show.
Anyway, entertainment. I will go back though. I will give it a 5.
Yeah,
entertainment.
This is an awesome
super quotable, great action scene. I could watch that final scene right now again.
Yeah.
Without even thinking. This is a highly entertaining movie.
It's funny. It's full of action. It's awesome. The characters are good. It all looks good. You know, it's a great Marvel movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a good movie.
Now you could say like the story's a little dumb and all that, but
it's a comic book movie. You know?
It's an I mean, no, I don't like that argument because Logan's a great comic book movie and has a lot of good storylines.
I have not seen Logan.
Oh my gosh!
And this might have been the poor time to mention that. Wow, that was actually was that a coin?
For those of you at home, I just threw a nickel onto a carpeted floor and I threw it hard enough that it bounced back up and I caught it in midair.
Oh my god, that was awesome!
That's what I have to deal with someone who doesn't.
It's just one of those things I haven't gotten around to yet.
Oh my gosh, you literally.
Well, what should I see first, Thor Ragnarok or Logan?
See Logan. It's a better movie.
Okay.
Now for the podcast, you gotta watch Ragnarok anyway. Yeah, but no, I don't like that argument. It's a comic movie, it doesn't have to have a good story. But no, it is an entertaining movie. Is there flaws to it? Yes. There's flaws in all these movies. We've said that. But at the end of the day, I would watch this movie again tomorrow. I'd watch it probably the next day. Maybe I'd have to take a break the third day. But this is a movie, like I said, this is by far the movie I've watched the most of all the MCUs. I throw this on a Sunday when I got nothing to do, and it's fine. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Lee cameo.
I really liked it, and I like it because of the irony of the situation of just Stanley. Stanley of all people, the person who essentially created it all. And he's like, no, superheroes, that's ridiculous. So I'll give it a 3.5. I liked it.
You liked it a lot. I just thought it was just kind of meh. Like, I think average. It does kind of add to the story, but also makes it look dumb. Like, so I'm gonna go 2.5 on that. Like, it's surprisingly average.
That's fair.
But hey, I think that still makes it the second highest.
Well, we haven't had many good ones.
Yeah, it still makes it the second highest Lee cameo, or at least tied for second highest.
Yeah.
So we got that going for us.
Which is nice.
It's something. All right, development. So how well does this develop the MCU? I mean,
how do you not give this a 5? You set up the connections that they all know each other, and you kind of introduce Thanos and the extraterrestrial threat.
You set up the other. Well, that was kind of set up in Thor. The other.
It was a little bit, but we don't get. You don't get like the fact that they're Chitauri, or the fact that it's like we don't know where they came from. Who gave Loki the scepter? Like, I don't know. I find it hard not to give this an incredibly high score because it does finally close the connections for everyone.
I mean, it is a culmination of everything that the other movies have been building up to. You now have them all coming together.
And frankly, it shapes the rest of the Marvel Universe from here on out. Is because they all know each other now.
See, I was actually trying to find a way to not give it a 5 because I feel like if we give 5s out all willy-nilly, it's going to disrupt the hard work our scientists have been spending for decades to get this. The movies weren't even out when they were making it.
I don't care because they're not the ones who have to be locked in this room when we do this, so...
I mean, yeah, but you've convinced me. There's no way I can't give it a 5.
Yeah.
You have to give it a 5.
You have to.
It's a 5.
It's a 5 on both ends. That's 2... I've given 2 5s out.
You gave 3 5s out.
Did I give 3?
Yeah, because you gave for integrity, entertainment, and development.
Oh, man!
I only gave 2 because...
Excuse me, sir. Would you like a 5? I happen to have many today.
You got all them Lincolns.
So we're gonna save our scientists the trouble because looking at our scores here, there's no way this is not the highest one.
Yeah, we'll calculate this later.
Yeah.
I almost said taking credit for our scientists and all their hard work that they work in the SHIELD labs.
No, I gotta be locked in this room for like 3 hours to record this. No.
Let's close to 4 now.
Yeah, no, screw that. They can go to the bathroom.
But we'll tell you right now.
They have more privileges than me right now.
Yeah, you get nothing. Welcome to my dojo. But yeah, The Avengers is the highest rated movie of the MCU so far, which makes it the highest movie of Phase 1. And obviously, what else could you expect?
Finally dethroned Iron Man.
Yeah, about time. Iron Man shouldn't even be the top one, you homeboy.
Well, out of Phase 1, really?
Cap scored higher for me, I'm just saying.
Okay, Cap was pretty good.
But... Anyway, but no. Congratulations, Avengers. You are now the top dog. You did it. I know you made over $1.5 billion and probably got a bunch of awards for visuals. But more importantly, you're number 1 on the Super Marvel Brothers, which is probably the greatest award this movie could ever receive.
True. We are a prestigious, well-known podcast, you know.
Two brothers in the middle. Just two brothers in the middle of nowhere, United States.
Yep.
Has come together and said that you are the best Marvel movie of the first 6.
Yep. Good job. Round of applause. All right.
So now we're done Phase 1.
We're done Phase 1.
Which means we're on to Phase 2 of the rewatch.
Phase 2. We're going there. What's our next movie?
Oh, it's a controversial one. I know you could ask 100 people and get probably 50 different answers.
Yeah,
or maybe 2 different answers. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Iron Man 3. The only MCU Christmas movie. Putting that out there.
Which, that deserves a place on its own.
Yeah, I mean, when I think Christmas movies, you think obviously Jurassic World. You think Iron Man 3. Die Hard. Gremlins. There's a couple other ones there. The classics.
Yeah.
So there's, it's...
the ones we were raised on.
Yeah, I mean, I remember on Christmas Eve always throwing on Die Hard followed by Gremlins.
Yeah, the back-to-back special.
Yeah, I mean, some people say the Christmas story is better, but let me tell you, if I want to get in the Christmas spirit...
If it has to put Christmas in the title, isn't it trying too hard?
If I want to get in the Christmas spirit, I want a Mogwai.
Exactly, I want a Mogwai.
So, we'll be watching Iron Man 3 next week to start off Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we work our way towards Infinity War.
Right.
Connor, I'd like to thank the Couch Gnomes for giving us the precious YouTube...
The precious slot.
The precious Friday morning slot. As well as a shout out on Facebook every now and then.
Yeah.
If you're liking the podcast, if you listen to the podcast, give us a like, give us a comment. Share with your friends. We got a lot of views on the first one, and we've kind of been dropping. So either you guys really don't like us, which is very sad. We like you.
But hey, you know what? We're going to keep doing it anyway.
Because
we're spiteful.
Plus, I was going to do this regardless.
Yeah, so, oh well.
So, give us a like, give us a shout out. Love to hear your comments. Remember, we're looking for hashtag Loki's Reading Corner. I think we changed that hashtag 7 times.
And we didn't elaborate on a better Lee cameo?
Oh yeah, if you got a better Lee cameo, do you want to try and do that now? Or...
I can't think of it. I thought that was pretty good. I don't know where you'd put it in.
Okay, I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
Hit me with it.
Everything's collapsing.
Yeah. In
New York City, and Stan Lee is at a hot dog stand.
Okay.
Stan Lee is running a hot dog stand.
Okay, I just thought of one while you were saying that, but okay.
And you have this rock about to fall and crush him.
Uh-huh.
And then suddenly, Kevin Feige saves him.
Who?
Kevin Feige, the guy who runs the MCU.
Oh.
Kevin Feige,
some symbolism there.
Pushed him out of the way. He's like, "You okay, man?" He's like, "Yeah. I feel like you just saved my life."
Oh, wow. Ouch. Might be a little heavy-handed. See, I thought of a good one. I thought of a good one where just as the portal opens, go to a street corner, and Stanley's standing there with the sandwich board and everything, holding the sign, and he's one of those the end is nigh preachers.
That's a good one.
And then the portal opens, and he turns around and he's like, "I told you!"
That's a really good one,
That's a good one.
By the way, great news, Stan Lee is out of the hospital.
I was going to say, I wanted to bring that up at the end. I was going to say thoughts and prayers with him.
Yeah, hopefully it seems like he's doing okay now, so hopefully it keeps going.
That's awesome. I was genuinely worried when I saw he went to the hospital.
Yeah, but last report I heard, he's out of the hospital in stable condition. So
good.
So hopefully he'll be around.
Take it easy, Stan. Don't go to all the cons and stuff.
Yeah, man. You've done your work.
You've done. I mean, you know, if you can keep the cameos up, that's awesome. But if not, we get it.
I think
you've given us gold already.
Well,
look,
he's going to be giving us gold. Yeah. We just haven't gotten to it yet.
We've gotten some good ones.
Yeah. So, again, thank you for the couch gnomes. If again, hashtag Loki's Reading Corner. What magazine is Loki reading in there?
What magazine does Loki read in his free time? And what would he ask for?
Yeah. What is he going to ask for in that cage when Nick Fury says, "Do you need a magazine or something?" If you got a better Lee cameo, put it in the comments. If you want to have a question,
good luck beating mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a question, Couch Gnomes has a Facebook page. You can send it. You can put it in the comments. We have a Twitter. We have an Instagram. I don't know if you can do things on Instagram. I don't have an Instagram.
I don't have an Instagram.
Danny and can I manage that? Yeah. So you can leave them there. Check us out. Hit us up. And you can get some lovely gnomish attire from our Spreadshirt, which I'm not going to pretend.
Which will be linked in the description.
I'm not going to pretend to know that URL off the top of my head like Kanai does.
Wonder if we'll ever get it. Will this podcast?
I'm gonna record it. Will the podcast get a shirt? Some discussion might have happened.
Ooh.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week when we start Phase 2 with the one and only Marvel Christmas movie.
It's a Wonderful Christmas with Tony Stark. So much eggnog.
Oh, I would watch that.
So much eggnog.
I would watch a Christmas special hosted by Tony Stark.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'd be entertaining.
So yeah, Iron Man 3 next week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.